Everyone, welcome back to our channel. Today we continue our journey into data engineering and data science within Microsoft Fabric. I'm your host, Sarah, and I'm delighted to introduce our new guest, Ruixin, who joins us to discuss using R in Microsoft Fabric. Ruixin, being a first-time guest, we are eager to learn about your experience and insights. Could you kindly introduce yourself?
Hello, everyone. My name is Ruixin Xu. I'm a program manager from Fabric Data Scientist team. Today, I'd like to talk about the R language support in Microsoft Fabric.
Roshan, it's great to have you here. Today we'll discuss R, so let's start with a brief introduction of the R language for those who may not be fully familiar with what is R. So the information I found on Wikipedia is that R originated as a programming language at the University of Auckland. It has been designated for teaching basics statistics. It's an interpreted language, so you can access that through a command line interpreter. And also, I have a privilege of using R several times. So my interactions with this language were primarily when I delve into time series forecasting, such as predicting stock prices and energy consumption patterns. Also, I discovered that the libraries in R for these specific domains are incomparable in their advancement. Could you share your insights on why and when we should use R in Microsoft Fabric?
Thank you, Isra. And one of the principles from Fabric is we want to meet customer where they are. So if you are a data scientist or data analyst already familiar with R language to do data manipulation, data visualization, or machine learning, in Fabric, we have the built-in R language support for you to use to leverage your data on Fabric and do the analyze work in using the language and tools and packages you are familiar with. So I want to highlight it that in Fabric Synapse Spark offering, we have the native SparkR and SparklyR pre-installed with the latest Spark runtime. So this is for the R users. If you already use R in your existing workload, you will find it's quite familiar to work on Fabric. The thing I want to highlight is that Fabric is a unified platform, right? It brings the BI with the AI. So in existing Power BI, there is also some R offering that you can load your data, import data, build a visualization using R language in Power BI. And in Fabric, if we bridge this kind of BI persona with your data scientist in your team very close. So imagine your data scientist can use R language to to build their model and generate the results and write the results back into the Fabric Lakehouse. And your BI users can directly process the same data into the Power BI report. That's also another differentiated value we try to bring in Fabric for our users. Yeah.
So one environment, one platform that brings all the personas to process the same data from ingestion, processing, AI, modeling, and then to creating the report. And then at the end, making the visualization that is easy to be posted or published, for example, inside the poster.
Yes, exactly.
Super. R language is part of the runtime that is available in Fabric. You can use Spark SQL, you can use PySpark, you can use Scala, and you can use R as well. Ruixin, you mentioned that there is a SparkR or SparkR. What is that? What are those libraries functionalities?
Okay, SparkR is a lightweight frontend to use Apache Spark from R language. It's an interface, built from the Spark community. So it provides all the distributed data frames, native Spark data frames, implementation that support common used operations in Spark, such as filtering, aggregation, selection, and distributed machine learning. And SparkLayer is an R interface to Apache Spark. This is a package, I think it's generated from RStudio. So you can use SparkLayer along with other, tidyverse packages. I think both SparkLayer and SparkR in recent years their functionalities are more similar to each other, and it really depends on what's your preference. Both of them can use R to work on distributed data set, and also in Fabric, we allow you to use SparkR and SparklyR in the same Spark session. But to make the code more easy to understand, easy to read, we highly recommend you to pick one of them to use when you process your data on Spark. Besides SparkR and the SparklyR, we also distribute the latest stable version of Tidyverse with every runtime release. So Tidyverse is a set of R package collections which can cover your common used data operations, such as readr for data import, ggplotlib for data visualization, deeplyr or tidyr for data manipulation, and tidymodels for model buildings. So, and besides the common used ggplotlib visualization, within Fabric we also have a set of other popular open source R packages pre-installed for visualization, such as rbouquet, rplotty, and high-charters. So you can build either static visualization or interactive views using this kind of common, familiar open source packages. Besides all those pre-installed packages, if you feel that you still you need actual additional libraries to get your job done, in Fabric we also offer this kind of package management capabilities. When talking about the libraries, we are considering two types of libraries. One is feed library, which refer to the ones like sitting in the public repository or source, such as GitHub or Chrome. Another library is like customized library that's built by you or your team. There are two levels of packages supported on Microsoft Fabric. One is like the workspace level installation, which means that either it's like a package that you are going to commonly use or you are going to share with your teammates. We highly recommend you to install it on the workspace level. And another one is the session level. It's when you do some quick experimentations, you want to do quick iterations before the package is finalized. You can just install that on your current Spark session, so it will not impact any others. So currently, for the session level of package installation, we cover both the feed library as well as customized library. But for the workspace level installation, only the customized library is supported today, and the feed library is on our roadmap.
Okay, short click stop. Some libraries are pre-installed, so there is a R environment ready for you to process your data. The libraries that are not shipped within the default runtime, you can always install through Library Manager functionality. What about the visualization? Microsoft Fabric aim to bring all of the personas that are processing the data in one place. Data scientists, people who ingest the data engineers, and at the end, people who are doing the visualization. How Power BI integrates with R in this flow?
I think as you mentioned that in Fabric we have this kind of direct click mode. So thanks to the direct click mode, once the data scientist can do their data manipulation, data modeling, and predictions in Fabric Notebook, and write the results back into the lakehouse using the direct click mode, using their R language. And their BI users can easily access the tables in the lakehouse and from the Power BI dashboard. And they can access data directly without any data movement or loading or refresh of the data.
Okay, another click stop. So we have a couple of elements. Runtime with R, libraries that we can install, and Power BI that can read the results that came from R. Can we see the demo about that, like all in one?
Sure, yeah, let's jump into the demo. In this demo, I'm going to demonstrate an end-to-end workflow of using R language in Fabric for flight delay prediction. The idea of this project is to use the NYC Flight 13 dataset to predict whether a flight arrives more than 30 minutes late or not. We will then use the prediction results to build an interactive Power BI dashboard. In this sample, you will see how to use the built-in R machine learning packages to process and train a machine learning model, and write the output data to Lakehouse as a delta table and build interactive Power BI report through the direct link mode. Now let's go through the notebook to see how it works. First, let's install the package using the inline installation and then load the packages. Before starting the model building, let's do some data exploration. For example, we could use the ggplotly library to draw the distribution of the arrived flight delays. From the chart, we can see that the data is right-skewed. It has long tails in the high values. Then let's load the data and make a few changes to the variables. Let's convert the numeric arrival delay into factorial. If the arrival delay is larger than 30 minutes, it's a delay, otherwise on time. We can also explore the distribution of how many flights arrive late in the dataset and check the distinct values of the destination as well as the carriers. Then let's split this dataset into training and testing datasets and create recipes for the model buildings. The last step before the model training is feature engineering. In this case, we expand the date into 3 more meaningful features. First one is the week of the day. The second one is the month. Third one is whether the date is a holiday or not. Now let's use a logistic regression model to start the training. Once the model is converted, we can take a look at the summary of our model. As you can see here, we can print the model coefficiency with all the inputs. Then we could apply our model in prediction. In the final results, we can see the model predicts the probabilities of being delayed or not of each flight. We can also evaluate the model through drawing an AUC curve. Seems like our model is not bad. The final step in this demo is that we can write the prediction results to a lakehouse and let Power BI access it. Let's first enrich the data by adding carrier names and destination names and write it to lakehouse as a delta table. Thanks to the direct link mode, I can access the delta table as a Power BI dataset and build my dashboard. No need to move data or refresh the data. It just happens automatically, which makes it super easy for BI and AI users work together in R language.
Ruixin, that was incredible demo. Now, some time ago, we recorded the episode with Jean about MS Spark Utils as a core library to move the data, to process the data, to play with the data from the notebook perspective. Is MS Spark Utils integrated with R in Fabric?
Yeah, of course. I think MS Spark Utils support R language since the first day. And another thing I want to mention is that we also notice some people build their own packages on top of Synapse in Fabric. They depend on this MS Spark Utils, either for the fail operations or get the environmental variables. We also have MS Spark Utils published on the public repository Chrome, so you can download it and install it in the public repository as well for your R package development.
Ruixin, I would like to ask you how tough is for our users who are not using Microsoft Fabric, who are using different tools, local machine just to develop our code, our scripts, how tough for them, how difficult for them is to move to Microsoft Fabric?
I think Microsoft Fabric follows this kind of 5x5 principles. We make it super easy for users to jumpstart. This principle also applies for the R. So we have this kind of pre-built packages. We also have built-in samples, and so you can open your Fabric workspace and pick up the R language and jumpstart. If you have your data existing in either SQL database or R data lake storage, we have this built-in data connectors. You can access those data directly without any data movement. So I think it should be very super easy for user to jumpstart.
Ruixin, that sounds phenomenal. I wonder what are the cool new features that you are working on to add in our Microsoft Fabric.
Yeah, sure. We have been focusing on the R language support in Fabric Synapse Spark area, and one of the key focus in our upcoming milestone is to expand the support for our users in Power BI. So if you are using data importing in Power BI data flow, or data manipulation, or even build data visualization using R language in Power BI, we are looking forward to hear your feedback and see, what kind of actual values we could offer for you. Feel free to contact us.
That's great. I will emphasize that. So anyone who is watching us and using R in Fabric or R in general, please contact with Ruixin. Looking forward to seeing you collaborating and exploring our capabilities in Microsoft Fabric. So the last question from my side, what are the key resources that you can recommend for listeners looking to dive deeper into using R in Fabric?
Yeah, we have all the tutorials, samples, and the reference published in our document. You can paste the link in this video.
All right, folks, that's it for today. If you enjoyed this episode, be sure to hit the like button and subscribe for more content. Got questions, topics you wanna tackle in upcoming episodes? Just drop us a comment. Feel free to reach out to Ruixin about our capabilities, and I hope that soon Ruixin will join me again to dive deeper into R, as that was the first session. Until next time, happy coding using R in Microsoft Fabric. Thank you.